It's going like right, you like.
We're live. Here we are. Hello there, people, guys. We are here today with Dale Brendan Hyde.
Yep.
He's going to tell you what he's about and everything. And yeah, he's a fantastic. He's a writer. He's a bare knuckle fighter. We're just over to you, Dale. Would you just let the people know what you do?
Thanks, Brian. Yeah, just wanted to come on Brian's show. Just trying to republish my books. I've got away from an old publisher. Started with a company in the Philippines called GMGA. And we're relaunching all my books. The Ink Run, which was my first crime fiction novel.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was my first crime fiction novel, The Ink Run. It's got some fantastic reviews, and it's getting relaunched. It's got some of the best writers in the world now are backing it. Paul Finch sold over 1 million copies. Sunday Times best-selling author. Got Valerie Keogh, Ireland's best-selling Irish writer. Sunday Times bestseller, Bloodhound Books. And I've got Sean A. Cosby from America. He's author of Blacktop Wasteland. He's just books absolutely flying through market at the minute. He's just Paramount Pictures has just picked it up for a film. And Sean's kindly given me this is the old copy, but on the front here we're gonna have Sean's quote on here, giving the book all what he thinks about it. It's a big boost for the book, so hopefully a good relaunch.
Yeah. So
that was the first book.
We're coming at the end of this year. What's happening? What's going to be happening next year in 2021?
Yeah, we're just getting past Christmas now, nearly into 2021. Again, like I said, I've relaunched. This is the Whiskey Pool. It's a self-help book for alcoholics. It's all about rebirth, Buddhism. Gives you a bit of guidance through problems, but it's a good story as well. But it's only a little short story. It's only, you can read it in an afternoon. That's getting put back out through GMGA.
Brilliant.
I've got the first thing I ever wrote, what a poetry book. I started with poetry, did the T.S. Eliot Prize, put it in for a competition. That's never been released to the public before, so that's coming back out on GMGA. They're the old books.
So I'm going to go back to when you were at school.
Oh, school.
That's a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
what was it like being at school? What were you like at school?
I was just a bit of a class clown at school. Didn't really knuckle down. Always got them reports saying could do better. Talent were there. Never really pushed it. Got into trouble pretty early after school. I did a few jobs, but pretty much went straight to jail for robberies. One, not like what you were doing, but I was just sort of street. No, I wish I didn't know what you were doing.
What help with the power?
Just more silly stuff. You know, I ended up in jail when you count out exactly what I'd made. I ended up getting six years at 18 for street robberies, mugging people, and I earned like a few hundred quid, and I blew it all on drugs. I was same sort of thing. What I'd explained. Got involved with crack, which I was running up to Chapeltown, robbing Sunday, going to Chapeltown, getting a rock, getting off my head. Then it'd wear off. Then I'd be back in Leeds having a pint, spotting people. Right, I'll rob them next. And I was glad when I got arrested, because I didn't even realise, Brian, when police arrested me, they were like, "You don't understand like how serious this is. You're under arrest for like street robbery." And I was like, "I've only been taxing people." And they were like, "What you on about?" And I was like, "Well, what you on about?" So I didn't even. I was
changed a lot. Yeah, when you were doing it like 20 odd years ago, it was different.
I was just glad, and I come up this way. They put me in a prison in Yorkshire first, but I was still like kicking off, and then they put me up in. It's been pulled down Northampton. So I did most of the time with old Geordie lads. There were a lot of lads in from South Shields, a lot of better lads. So I got to know all them sort of, there were only me in there from Yorkshire and a couple of Scouts lads.
So what was the first job you had? What was the first proper job you had?
Outside? Well, when I left school, I did slaughterhouse for a little bit. Terrible. I didn't want to do it.
Was that a YTS thing you were on?
We did. We did YTS. We did like construction, Henry Boats, Henry Boat Construction, City and Girls. Passed all that. Learned a few things, but no way you ended up going into a business. Did underpinning for a little bit, digging down, but again, it was just all blokes. Like it was piss tech job. You were young and on site, so it was just filling batter, filling skips.
Is it true that you were the first person to write the Paul Sykes book, but you couldn't finish it because you ended up getting cancer, didn't you? Yeah,
well, I was going to do some stuff on the Paul Sykes stuff. I helped an author that's I don't get on with anymore. He's not a nice person. I don't really want to mention his name.
Paul, what made you want to get into books before?
Went from prison. It was like halfway. There were a big screw. We were a big. There were one. I didn't really get on with screws, but there were one. He were an Irish fellow called Mr. Derry, and he was massive. He had a lot of respect for everybody. Respected because of the size of him.
Right.
And he used to always come to block and say, "Get me out at block," and say, "Look, you can do better than just what you need to shape yourself up."
Because he seen potential in you.
Yeah, he used to. He gave me some pads and paper and stuff, and went, "Look, here, there were nothing that block in them days. You didn't even have any electricity. There were no electricity, no toilets. So give me some pads and pens." And I used to you could get a few books from library, but most of the people, I learned then I didn't know what word were called, but I know now it's called a bibliophile.
Right.
So it's people that rip out back of books so you can't get you're enjoying your book, and when you get to the end, it's like, what's that?
Oh.
So they're bibliophiles in prison, people that just want to cause you a bit of, So I started writing the ends to books.
I was going to say that
myself because I didn't know ending to them. I'd read them and think, well, where's that? What's happened there?
Right.
So I started writing ends of books, and that's what got me into getting a bit creative and doing stuff. Yeah.
So what was what you're saying about the Paul Sykes book when you were writing that?
Paul Sykes.
That book?
What, the one that I did the chapter?
Yeah,
it was called Unfinished Agony. I did a chapter on that because my great granddad trained Paul Sykes when my great granddad had a boxing gym in Wakefield, called the Bridge Hotel. It were up above a pub. So he used to train him when we were young. Yeah, I did a few.
He wasn't liked, was he, Paul Sykes?
He wasn't really liked at all. Do you know what I mean?
Bully, wasn't he?
He was, a lot of people round Lupsey where we were. I was from Salford, and then my mum moved to Manchester. So my dad moved over to Wakefield. We lived my nan were on Broadway, which was the biggest council estate. We're the biggest council estate in Europe at the time. So a massive council estate.
Right.
Sykes, were like, you see him now and again. He were in and out of jail, but when he were on manor, he were running up and down, running about drunk and all the time. You know what I mean? But because he had some respect for my family.
Said you told me that he got a good eye once in a pub off Alan to wait with
I
don't have to say his name or anything.
No, a good friend of mine, Colin Beaumont. Colin was well respected. Colin had been in early sort of craze books, but he wasn't one of these that tell you about it.
Yeah.
He just got on. He was just a quietish bloke, but he'd blow your bollocks off with shotgun, and he was a nutcase in that sense. But I know his family. My mum, all my family know his family.
Right.
And he was once messing about, bothering, trying to have a quiet pint. Sykes was trying to wind up, kept saying, leave me alone.
Is this Wakefield?
Yeah, it was in Wakefield. It was in, I think it was in a pub called Shakespeare.
Right.
And Colin ended up getting one of them old bar stools and knocked him unconscious, put him in hospital. Then he was in his prime, but he never come back and did all. Yeah. Because you know what Colin was like. He won't come back. He won't come back at you if you.
That's what he's like, under though.
Yeah,
that's what they do. They pick on someone and keep picking, getting away with it. But some people will stand up. They can be that big. Yeah. But only takes a finger, pull the trigger. So
I think this is why when he got more run down when he were older, do you know what I mean? When people said people were bullying him, a lot of it were like kids he'd crack the dad, or he'd crack their uncle or something, and then young uns sort of thought, get him.
Yeah, it's revenge now.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So
so what was the first book you got published then?
First book was the Ink Run. It took me 10 years to do it because I handwritten it, and then I was like sort of nervous of looking at the manuscript like that.
I pulled it back out of that one.
I kept putting off doing it, and then I started editing it, and then just as I got typing it, I typed about 154,000 words. I got 50,000 words typed, and then I got diagnosed with cancer, bowel cancer.
Right.
So I all put everything into a spin. Yeah. And I think in the next 2 years after that, I only typed about 10,000 words. That's how much it slowed me down, proper slowed me down.
Yeah. So what's happening to these days? What are you up to?
What with the cancer?
You're telling me you've got cancer again.
The cancer's back in me. It's been I got it out of my bowel, and then it's been the trouble's been in my liver. Right. Spread it in my liver. It's been in twice. I've had 2 major surgeries. I've had half my liver out. Then I've had 35% of it out. Keep getting clear for about 2 years. Just about. Steadily building myself back up. I don't mean I'm like doing up Mr. Olympia. I'm on about you're just learning how to.
It's mentally as well.
Walking, you crawl. It's like your baby steps. You're just getting back on your feet at point to think, right, I feel okay. Don't feel totally like death warmed up. And now it's come back in my liver again. So I start radiotherapy. Like I said, we're just coming out of Christmas. We're nearly finished over Christmas now. Yeah. So I think it's going to be somewhere. End of January that I start. I've got to have this. It's called Sabre, so it's more a targeted thing. So it won't harm me as much as just general.
technology they've got now.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, I mean, you can't fault them for, the people like NHF, they've done no but help me really. Yeah. But you can only do this sabre once because it's your liver. Right. So I'm going to be ill again.
Too toxic to the liver.
Yeah, it's too toxic. So
especially when you've got most of it missing.
Got one chance. No, your liver generates back.
Yeah, I know that.
But it's still, it just can't handle this blast. It can have it once, but you can't have it twice. So if you don't get rid of it, it might be an option of surgery again, but if not,
and what about the bare knuckle fighting? You were in that line.
Yeah, got right into bare knuckle fighting when.
What year was that?
It'll be just it was a year before cancer started. So I had cancer 8 years, so I can't work out days. But
8 years.
Go back 8-9 years. Like a guy, I know a gypsy guy called Andy Topliff. He's not a proper gypsy, but he was brought up around Inkley site in Leicester. So Inkley's quite a strong site.
Right.
The adult Gormans like Bart the Gorman, King of Gypsies, I had all them on. So I know I got to know like Sam and more Jerry Gorman, who were Bartley's nephews.
Right.
Then Andy were like, want to put a show on. He'd been doing something in Woods called Field Rage, where they'd been getting old when football bands come in and they were getting into trouble, all them that wanted to have a scrap. It were like getting me and say like, you'll bring 4 of your best crew, bring 4 like from Leicester, bring 4 from Birmingham, and they were meeting in Woods and just pegging out some old style ring and having a bit of a do.
Like 4 on the
and they were filming that, and then he wanted to start the bare knuckle, but he wanted a show where we could actually do a ticketed show. Yeah. So he asked me to get 2 more fighters. So I got Dave Radford, who has got massive reputation on bare knuckle scene, but he'd kind of lost. He'd lost his way. There were no shows going on, or there were nothing underground. It had gone out of blue. Right. So I got Dave back involved, and we got a lad called Matt Thorne, who he's not best of fighters, but he's got bollocks as big as him. Yeah, he's like King Kong with his balls. But we all went down. They had a few gypsy fighters from Leicester. Yeah. All those Yorkshire lads won that night. We all got it started. We had a few decent.
What type of ring was it? Was it just a match?
It was just in the back of a nightclub. It was in an Asian nightclub called F Bar. Right. And it was just like they led through like that snatch. You here for fight? Yeah. Got to next door. You here for fight? Yeah, we're here for fight. Yeah. Right, get through next down this canal, and then it was
like Fight Club. It
was like Snatch. It was like we definitely like Snatch. It was just where do you want us to fight? No, just over there on that bit of wooded dance floor. Right, so everybody's waiting to fight. Then somebody would point and say, "Right, you ready? Yeah, top off, off you go."
You have to train like for that type of stuff.
I was just in gym boxing anyway. I'd always boxed since I was 7. I've always been in boxing. It was just like getting a bit more cardio because, like I say, with bare knuckle, then now they've brought it more into like where you're doing rounds and it's gone more into ring again. But back then there were no.
So it's safer now, isn't it? Because you've got the first aid people there and things like that.
But we had a bit of that there anyway. But like when
was it a plaster? Plaster of wet sponge.
Well, we had Dave Bradford. He had his own stitching kit. When we set off, he went, "If you get cut, I'll stitch up."
I bet he loads of people said, "You're all right."
Yeah, I said, "You can fucking keep that away from me, mate." But he's like just stitches. It's like Rocky. He just stitches himself up, and you like think that. Oh, they're off the net. We just, it was good. It was exciting then, Brian.
You made many friends still.
Yeah, still got a lot of good, all them people. Yeah.
Have you ever noticed it's the lads who can really fight give you respect, don't they?
Yeah.
Like the ones who are the little idiots or the little big men.
Yeah, we're all
shouting their mouths off and they can't fight. And then as soon as you give them a slap, they go to the police.
We're all same old sites. We built it up to sort of 10,000 people, and majority of people all were like got on really well and made friends. And there's a lot of people have made lifelong friends. Yeah. But you've always got that element of. Trolls wherever like I said we've realised with these books that trolls are still they just won't leave you alone. But back in them days there were loads of I'll fight, loads of people saying I'll fight, and then it was like when you'd ring them up and say, right, can you come? Oh well, I need 6 months to train.
I know that myself. And what it is, I've hurt my leg and you were in the rave club last night, dancing all night. It's just rubbish to come out. So everyone wants to fight. This is get there, they don't turn up.
I got criticised for fighting that Matt Thorne up for the show, but we asked numerous people to come and fight me, and they were like, and then they didn't, and we ended up like trying to talk. Matt was just like, we knew he couldn't really fight that well, but we just wouldn't be talked out, and it was like, well, we need some bodies. Yeah. So I didn't want him to be put against this guy who Dave Radford fought, Danny Draper, because I knew he would have been. I didn't think he would any better fighter than me, but I thought this guy's going to try and break this Matt Thorne's jaw up and everything. But I reckon I can just put him down we aren't hurting him too much, and then maybe it'll put him off it. But it didn't. He ended up having about 100 fights after mine. So it works like opposite way.
Did he win many?
Yeah, he's won a couple, but he's lost majority of them.
God bless you, mate. Yeah, at least he's got the ball. He's the type of guy you want to.
Matt.
The thing is with somebody like Matt, he's the type you want in the trenches with.
He'd actually fight you, Brian, right? Yeah. We'd have to say to him, "No, it's so stupid," right? But he'd actually say, "No, I'll fight you." Yeah, and he would. He'd have a go at you, but you just go. But yeah, he's no fear of that kid. But
good. Yeah, but you get some with the I could have been this and I could have been that and I could have done this. And you get them done. You just absolutely. But you could have, they would have, wouldn't they?
A lot of them slag me off, but like I said, without people like me getting Dave Bradford, they've been on of these McCory trilogy fights. What they all rave on about. Say, Dave would have, I'd give him he's fought Roberto Duran. Yeah. And all that, Dave would have top 10. He could have been a proper champion boxer. He had an accident on his shoulder that knocked his shoulder, and that's when he switched to bare knuckle. But yeah, there's some solid lads in it, but some, like I said, a lot of people sort of don't get credit for like you think foundations.
Well, I always say to people, if we were in a nightclub and the fight kicked off, you just run in, you're done. Yeah. That's easy. Yeah. But when somebody says, I want to fight in 10 weeks and they've never been beat, you haven't been beat, they're the hard fights. You're in bed and you're going, okay, I'm going to win. It creeps in, doesn't it?
It's mental.
Once you get beat again, you go, no, you're not going to get beat. And the other voice is going, yeah, but you might.
It's a bit weird, sort of sat with people in the room and then it's like, right, let's go fight. Yeah. We're off to, it's like, say you've got to be ready on that spur at moment. Like, B-Bad won B-Bad, so we all did it. It were all... nobody knew what were happening. No. But once the company got Andy Topley sold it to this Joe Brown, who was just an accountant, but he kind of had a vision and he took it to then he got it out into hotels, posher hotels, but then it looked just like a white collar boxing night. Yeah. And they've gone away from like the roughness of it, which were where we all like to be round here, bales and bloods.
I think when you've had fights with these type of men and they're proper men, you're fighting toe to toe and you both get it and you're not shaking hands, though. I've had lots of fights with people.
They all shook hands, Brian. We all bought it. That's what B-Bad won about it. We're like, can we go down and have some not gypsy lads fight some gypsy lads? Gypsy lads are going to have some of the dads there. Danny J. Proddy's dad there. They're all shouting, go on, kill him, smash him in. After he lost, it we were all thinking, are these going to kick off? We had to have but we know that everybody shook hands. We all sat down, had a beer after. We're like, that went all right, didn't it? Yeah. Next show, we had a few more people coming that were not to do it. They just heard about it. Can we have a ticket? There were no people bringing the girlfriends at that point. But there were a couple of lads thinking, instead of going out to pubs, have you heard about this B-Bad thing? Should we go for a night out? Right. So it would building, and then it gradually built where people then been able to say to the missus, come, you're safe, trust me. We'll buy a ticket. It sounds rough, but you'll have a good night. It'll be a bit different. And it started gradually building, and it snowballed. So, like now they're at O2, that company we started. Right. They're at O2. They're massive, isn't it? Yeah,
have you ever thought about writing a book about it?
I have done, but I'm right. I think people think I don't brag about stuff, but I'm right. Like I just think autobiographies. I think if somebody else wants to maybe do one on me.
Not about yourself, just writing about the
knuckle. Andy Topless asked me numerous times, will you get it all down? Because he's not well.
People don't really know what it's about, because a lot of it's hidden, isn't it?
There's been a couple of books that people have written, but again, they come to the scene probably 2 years after we started, and they think they know it all, but they don't know all the ins and outs of what went on at the start. But I should. If anybody's going to write that book, I don't see why I shouldn't.
What do you think of the bail fighting? It's a bit strange, that one, isn't it, in the bails?
In the 80s?
It's like this little big bail things they fight, don't they?
Well, I don't really know. Again, we've done a few shows like that, but it were more like where you get a beer garden and just bail it out a bit. So there were more space. But this, I don't get on with them. There's a couple of promotions that, again, I won't go into it, but I know stuff about them, and I think I'm not having no to do with you. Your morals are not any good for me. And they put these two small. It doesn't really get. It's just by the time you take that first step, you're there, and it's just there's no. You need a little bit. We want a toe-to-toe fight, but I want people. You need people to have if they've got a bit of skill of sidestepping, moving. You need a little bit of space. You want it hemmed in, but you don't want it where.
Is it more brutal? Is it more brutal that way when it's close proximity?
I just think they're just giving. I just think it's giving people that can't. It's these swingers. I think it's giving these swingers a chance to just go in and get hit by. If you've got a 6'4" dude, 20 stone, he goes bang.
Yeah. Catches you.
Then you might be a better fighter if you had a bit of space. You might have been able to show.
So what you're saying is, no matter how bad you are or how good you are, you've put both in the same in the same ring.
You put them too close together. There's that 50-50 option. It's one of them, and I think that's taking. They need to just get it right. Nobody's got it perfect yet, for like side dimensions. They need to get it. All stuff they went and did to the rings and all the other blew it up. If they'd put that much effort into making the A-bell shows.
Do you have is it like boxing where you have the ring bell go and you have a minute rest?
It is now. Now they've took it to these. Right. Like I said, I don't go to these other little A-bell shows because they're not to do with me, and that promotion I don't. I don't like them. But
because there's big money in it now, isn't it?
Yeah, there's some good money, and they always will. But the side betting's where the money is. You know what I mean? If you get the right folk going, like you know what I mean, and somebody wants to say to you, do you want 10 grand on your man? I'll take that. If you want to do that private bet, well, fight's going on. That's up to you, isn't it? So there's money to be made. Right. I think that went back all the way to when the bare knuckle were popular hundreds of years ago. The money were in the, it was all the it was like old lords and ladies. Everybody, even Queen used to get informed if there were a big fight on. People would go from every village.
That type was fighting, wasn't it?
Yeah, like this old sort of style like that. People would go from every village, and it'd be like word of mouth. It'd be like there's a big fight.
It'd be like a football match in a way.
Yeah, massively. Massive. Like these big Wembley fights, it'd be as big as that, and they'd pick they'd be on a common or something. Do you know what I mean? They'd peg out the post and.
To them, it's like a big event, isn't it?
Massive, you know what I mean? I think, in them days. But then it just petered off. It just sort of, people thought that they invented the boxing glove to make things more safe. Right. So the boxing glove actually come in because the fights were ending so quick, so people paid the ticket money. People like more and saying, it only lasted 2 seconds that fight. So they brought the gloves in, so the fights.
When did the first gloves come in, then, Dale?
Date-wise, I can't exactly off the top of my head, not sure, but it were like Lord Lonsdale that sort of brought all them sort of rules in and got the gloves in.
The old Queensberry rules.
Yeah, the Queensberry rules.
When people used to fight me in the street, if you don't like boxing, we're not here for Queensberry, I'm straight in, down.
Old style, there used to be a thing called buttock throw. So it's a bit like a judo throw. So as you get in, you can sort of trip them or push them over your hip. And you could put them to the floor and wind them. And it was another sense of sort of.
Well, I used to grab them. I'd grab them. They'd say they were 15, 16 stone. You'd grab them close proximity and pull them over your leg and throw them and fall on top of them. And you're 24 stone. That's what I'm
saying. The buttock throw as well. It just when you smash onto the floor.
The first fight I had was 14. I won. I was getting bullied before that, and I grabbed the leg and I put my leg out and threw him on my leg, and he went, I've had enough of it. That was it. I thought, this is better than run away, because I used to run to get bullied terrible as a kid. So
a lot of people that have been bullied do end up like say, as long as I don't agree, I don't believe that way people say if you've been bullied, you'll turn into a bully.
That's bullish.
I don't think they do.
The thing with me, I can't stand bullies. People will call you bullies. Everyone gets called their daft names, but I've bullied, never bullied anyone. Tax drug dealers, of course. But I think that's very dangerous selling drugs.
It is. That's what I'm saying. If you're outside the law, if you move
nowadays, they just go to the police now. You can't go in these days. You can't be a criminal because
it's like
you go from the street, probably 20 houses, probably 10 houses got cameras on.
It's like getting back to some of these trolls. Like I said, some of the stuff, problems I've had when I've tried to straighten myself up. Like get a career going. I've had loads of trouble. Like I told you before, with the robbery stuff, I'd only been out of prison about a year from that, and then a friend, well, not a friend, but somebody I know from school, walking past, do you not fancy a beer tonight? Yeah, go for a beer. Didn't really want to, but I went out for a beer. Slept with this lass. 6 days later, door got bolted in. Police, proper boof in, pile upstairs, dragged out of bed. Get out of bed, you dirty rapist bastard. I was like, what? Didn't know what was going on. Got down to the police station. That were another sort of thing that happened to me when I was only 20.
Right.
And that sent me spiraling out of control into drug addiction, alcohol addiction.
The pain from what happened.
It all got sorted out, but it took it. What people don't understand is the stigma of sort of that rape word. Yeah. It stays with you for so long, even when you prove, you could show somebody, so say, look, there's nothing on my record saying.
I've seen your records, I've seen your proof, I've seen the newspapers saying
there's nothing
wrongly accused. Yeah. I mean, there's not just you, there's thousands of people out there, but I think the women who do actually go straight to jail for what they've done. It's disgusting.
The book it's coming out on 6th of February. This is my new book that's coming out with the 7th. It's coming out in 6th of February next year. And it's called Stitched.
Right.
I ain't got anything to show you on it, but Stephen French has wrote the foreword for me. Yeah. And because Stephen had a few problems with that type of trolling, and I think he'd had a problem himself. I think he'd been remanded himself, and it was a bit of ex-girlfriend who it all got within a few weeks. But the thing with me, mine went on. The magistrate magistrate sort of remand. Got to the next magistrate's hearing, remand to the next judge in chambers, failed.
Yeah.
Ended up on remand then for a year. 13 months it took before I got to Leeds Crown Court.
Because in them days you could wait till you had to trial, couldn't you? And that when you're in there, you get the finger point on you. Must have been.
That's what I'm saying. The more things are going wrong, where you're going back to jail, it's like, well, how come you haven't got bail if you're innocent? You know what I mean?
Of course. Yeah.
How come your judge and chambers?
It's because the allegation's so strong.
Yeah.
And even without the proof or any proof whatsoever, which they have
no evidence,
none whatsoever, because they've described that word. Now it's not as bad.
This is why I've written this book. It's more as a warning to people. Like, this can happen to any bloke that's like trolled me and said you're rapist. I sometimes think, God, I hope to God your door don't go in.
He got.
I hope your door don't go in one day and you end up like where I'm doing, because it's not a nice place to go down that route. And
well, he got Wilfred Easton got done it for something that he'd done, didn't he? And to leave the country, blew up to about 90 stone, and having an heart attack through all the stress.
The stress of it. So I think this is what actually, can't put down cancer. I can't say.
No.
The stress of like through my 20s and 30s dealing with it I got this, like I said, went to a 5-day trial. At the end of trial, I'd been looking at jury and they'd been coming out, and I thought I'd seen a few blokes on jury sort of gear that. I thought they're listening to what. There's no evidence. She's lying through it. Oh, the appeal papers are jolters. She said you'd done this to her, done that to her, beat him. No evidence, no marks on him, no nothing. All this. I had a dad like saying she's a compulsive liar and she makes things up and she's
her own dad.
But judge won't let it into trial. He ruled it right. Why is stuff like that and getting put into trial? Ended up getting sentenced. Soon as jury foreman went guilty. Like I said, there were 2 of us. It was like a threesome. Well, not a porn for, it was like I slept with this other lad slept with her. One of them. We were only 19 and 20. We're just, one of them things.
And she felt guilty, hadn't she, what she'd done?
She'd split up with her boyfriend that night, which we didn't know about. She'd gone to her boyfriend's out about 11 o'clock, knocked on the door, said, can we get back together? He told her to piss off. So she were upset and come home. We'd end up, sleeping with her. Then I think 5 days later, her mate said, you're upset. Is it something sexual? And she'd gone, yeah. And her mate had actually said, you haven't been raped. So she went, yeah. And then her mate had around for the police. Yeah. And it snowballed, I think. Then police come down and we've got records.
And once she's already made the allegation, you can't step back. Because
I just felt with police as well. I'd just come out of prison for robberies. This other kid had just come out of Dearborn. He blasted the kid in first with a pint pot. We want, as lads, we want angels, but we want doing that type of thing. You know what I mean? So, I got to court. Once I found us guilty, he raced over, like a carry-on film, we jumped over the dock. He raced over all benches, took judge's chair, got them big glass carafes, went to smash judging. Judge come off his chair. I went over the other way and went for the door. We've got armless screws running one way. We've got Leeds Crown Court screws. We've got G4 screws. We've got my mates in the public gallery going, Dale, don't, I'm thinking I've got to fucking get out of this building. Systems let me down. I stood there and thought, they're going to say not guilty. It was bad enough to have 13-month remand, but I thought on that day I'm going home.
So what do you have to appeal against this?
Well, from there I ended up back in Army. They put me on the escape list. Right. So straight away I was proper locked. Yeah, for 4. So straight from court I was locked down. Didn't see anybody. Couldn't phone anybody. I was locked down for 4 months.
How old were you? 20-year-old?
20 at this point. Yeah. No, I just turned 21.
Yeah. 20.
So 4 months on E-man thing, and then as soon as they got me off E-man thing, they shipped me up to Walton. Then they thought, right, get him out. Then they shipped me up to Walton.
That's horrible.
So I went, what a shithole. One of the worst prisons I've ever been in. Yeah, so then I'm stuck up in Walton for another year, and then my appeal come through. In between the E-man thing at Leeds, they took me back to court because they'd abandoned sentencing because the judge flying off his chair. Yeah. They took us back. I got 8 years for rape. Yeah. 3 months for contempt of court. The other kid got 7 years because he was a year younger, and then he got a year for contempt of court because he'd gone for judgment. He'd gone to smash this carafe of water on Judge's head. Judge come back when he sentenced us. He was called Hutchins. He's dead now, thank God. But Judge Hutchins said he'd never, in 30 years, been on bench. He'd never seen a contempt of court as ferocious. He'd never seen anything or heard anything like it in any Crown Court setting in his life. And
what was that? I mean, I've been up for fights and things like that, and you've been charged for a fight. When someone started the fight on me and they've attacked us with machetes, and I've ended up knocking them out, and I've been arrested. And
I'm thinking, what's going on?
Why am I here? And they're all they're working with the police and doing things like that. So you sat there and you think, what's going on? God, I've done nothing wrong here. So I've just saved my mate's life. And I went and I got caught and I got put.
Well, when Judge summed it up, Brian, he turned, again, everything we're getting turned wrong way. Judge sat there when it come to sentencing, because it took his time. He were loving it, and he were like, this is just what you did after sentence just shows what animals you are. To have the audacity to like attack me in my own courtroom, and it was like, but my barrister who's now a Crown Court judge.
Well, I think in my own head, if you were guilty, you just accept it.
Well, my barrister at the time, who's called Rodney Jameson, Mellor James. That was his name, but now he's a Crown Court, Leeds Crown judge. I've only spoke to him recently. He can't get involved because I've been still trying to appeal, and my appeal. I'm done. I've been acquitted from high courts. I went for, like I said, we got sentenced.
Did you serve the full jail sentence then?
No, I ended up doing 27 months before, but they got me from.
What was the catalyst that got you off then?
Just same evidence that would have Crown Court.
What different judge seen it with different eyes?
The High Court judges. I had Lord Stoughton. Lord Stoughton
went to London.
Went to
Court of Appeal.
Went to London. There's three of them. So I had Lord Stoughton, who was biggest, most important judge in England at the time. I had His Honour Judge McPherson, who did that. Remember when Stephen Lawrence, that black kid, got stabbed?
I remember.
So there was a report done on that, biggest report ever done in what they're considering law. That's McPherson report. That's another judge who let me out. And then there was another judge called Judge Gowery, what lowest on rank. But Lord Stoughton, William McPherson, Sir William McPherson, ex-SAS guy.
Top.
Ex-SAS dudes, they looked through what evidence and thought, what the hell is this? They've made a mistake here at Crown Court. Free to go. That was it. But that's when everything started happening. You get out of prison, but then the problem, then you think, well, I'm out of prison, but then it's like, you think, okay, you got this flashing light above your head. I'm a rapist. And
what's hard to deal with? How was it? How did you come to deal with that? Did you just lock yourself away?
I went first. My dad's always been in Middle East, so I took off first. I took off. I ended up I went to Middle East to Dubai, living in Dubai for a bit in Abu Dhabi. And then I ended up getting involved with a lass. Then I moved to Norway, went to live in Norway, got married. I'm running away, trying to protect myself, thinking, well, if I'm in a different country, please, they're not putting my door through like that again. And
so you were scared in case it happened again, even though you went, nothing was going to happen.
Yeah, well, like I say, it was just that fear of thinking, well, when something's gone that out of control, you don't imagine.
I imagine that trying to go out with someone.
First few times I sort of getting back involved with somebody, trying to almost sort of like after saying, I didn't know, that were all right. That were all right.
Did you feel like you had to explain yourself?
And every time I've met someone, like I said, girl and we now, like bless her, a lot of people understanding some, for as much as trolls and wankers that say bad things about you, there's more that are behind me. There's more people that understand that.
I'm not acquitted by 3 lords who are the highest in the country. You've obviously been wrongfully accused. It got
that where, like I said, where it stemmed to problems. I didn't bother trying to get compensation to start with. Then I started up you go for something called the Gratia payment from Home Office, and they've got something in their coffers that you can try to get your hand into the pot. And they just tie you up with red tape. They'll end up sort of saying to you, even though you've been acquitted, there's there were only a bit of doubt, or that judges they just they apologise, but they leave it where. And this is something what all these
organisations. If you're acquitted, whatever time you've done in jail, you should be. I think it's £400 a day. You should be. Because your life's been destroyed. So that little bit of money what they give you would help you.
All stuff we worked out before. I'm due at least £250,000.
And all the friends in Newcastle, they've been wrongfully acquitted, wrongfully accused of things, and they will look at 2 years and then 10 years.
So this is why I wrote this stitch book, because the trolls again, like getting on my case years and years later. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, I went for compensation. It took me 7 years until they were like.
Well, that's why they're called trolls, mate. The troll is that horrible little monster that lives under a bridge, and that's why they're called trolls. But them same Peter wouldn't face you in the street.
No,
they're just cowards, and the first thing they do is to go to the police on you if you threaten them.
Like where you've talked about addiction and talked about problems with drugs or alcohol. I thought it got that bad sort of deal, having to deal with it all, going through solicitors, reading paperwork all the time, going through it all, keeping it in my head. All my family were like, just drop it, you're out now, leave it. Because I was so enraged, thinking, how dare they do this to me? Do you know what I mean? I've done no wrong, and they've done this, and they've opened me off in 27 months, and all the shit. The
same trolls you had. I've had the same trolls. I'm the exact same people. So, but I can't next year with them anyway. So that's
good.
Going to be at ease. So we've got all the proof. We've got everything there. Just to let everyone know that we will win this.
I mean, I don't like saying this about myself because I don't recognise that person now. But after they ended up like sort of saying you're not getting any compensation, I'm thinking this makes me look like, even though I've been acquitted, you know, when people say, oh, you've been acquitted, well, did you get compensation? No. Like, why not? If you didn't do no wrong, it's like nobody gets compensated. It's not just my case. People who are in these organisations now, like Mojo, which is like Paddy Hill, all them from Birmingham 6, Guildford 4. There is some sort of like miscarriage of justice organisations out there, but they tend to sort of deal with high-profile cases. Where your average Joe Geezer on the street, he might go through hell, but there's no there.
What's the ratio of people getting? Did you ever look into it? How many people get found guilty compared to?
I've never really looked into it. I didn't really put that sort of stuff in book. I just kind of mentioned just my own story, but it got that bad, Brian, that I actually tried to kill myself. Do you know what I mean? I tried to hang myself at one point because I kept getting arrested because I was drinking. I thought, don't get on drugs.
Life was over.
So I was socialising for a bit. Didn't realise I was building up an alcoholic problem.
Right.
So I was drinking, getting down, getting arrested. Only petty stuff, but you know, drunken disorderlies, criminal damage, mostly police, just walking home on a night in police cars, pulling in, what you're doing, where you're going, walking home. You know, just getting it, just forcing it with arguments.
Do you think sometimes the police were maybe weren't really that bad with you? Just your mind thinking, oh, they're on me again for something they've been done here.
I think
you can sometimes be a little bit paranoid.
A bit of both, but I've had police sort of break into my apartment when I've been arrested. They've made a big show of putting your keys in your bag, Dale, sealing it up. It's a bit much. Why are they telling me this? Put me in cells. Then when 3 days later I've got home, gone into my apartment, and there's like some I thought, curtains fucking well, somebody's been in it. And then I've gone to my laptop, and you know, like on your, you know, it says shift. They've snapped my shift button off, put it on my thing, and closed my lid down, and put my laptop. So I literally it says shift. And I thought, what's trying to fucking say? what, you know, stuff like that.
They give themselves away when they left the panda car in the living room. You knew
you think, you know, I just thought they were sort of trying to say, like, you know, get out of Wakefield. You know, you're not wanted round here, mate. You're just not a nuisance now. And I got into this cycle where I couldn't, you know.
Your dad stood by all the way through, didn't he?
Oh yeah, all family and all that. You know what I mean? But they were obviously getting worried, thinking, where am I spiraling down to? You know, I'd got lost plot. Pretty much, and I didn't realise I was getting into an alcoholic situation.
Would you stay in the house drinking, or would you go up to pubs?
Both. Right. I'd end up sort of binge drinking. I'd get myself smartened up, go out in a few days, make a total mess, get locked up, come back, have a day on sofa, hungover, get myself back up, do a few weights, bit of shadow boxing, have a shave, put on a new jumper, back out, thinking I'm all right. Didn't realise this pattern was starting to occur. But I got over it. You know, like I said, courts never helped me. I kept asking, like, look, I won't be in this court if it wasn't for a drink problem. Get me some counselling. We'll put you on CS, we'll put you on community service, we'll put you on tag. You know, we're on tag. We're going through all this petty stuff. I'm thinking,
that's manual work. You need something in your head, don't you? You need something you get in your brain. You need to stop, take that chip out and change it.
I ended up going off my own back, Brian. I went to some alcoholic counselling.
That's what you need.
Did 2 years of it. And got me to the point where, like I said, I snapped out. I got back in gym. I'd not been in gym for years. Got back boxing. Did 3 years solid, like training like a monk, eating right. I sweated it all out. Running 5 in the morning, down toe paths, running every morning like Rocky. I felt like I'm finally put all. It took 20 years to put all that into a little box and think I'm never going to get rid of it in my head, but I can deal with it.
Right.
And then I started on that ink run. And then, like, fate, like it does, gives you a kick in knackers. Got 50,000 words in, then boom, cancer.
Right.
So it was like, and I thought, shit, I've never got away. All that sort of trauma. And, you know, like I say, it's important for people to realise if you keep telling yourself something negative, that is going to show up in your cells.
I think a lot of it as well is when you start having that, you get your cortisol levels go up. You can't heal properly.
No, you don't.
You need to have stress-free when you go for operations and things like that. But the lady you're with now, what's her name?
Gina,
she's a lovely lady. She's with you, and she's back here 100%.
100%.
And she gets to with my wife, and she's really nice.
There's some beautiful people out there. Like I said, I'm just it's just the odd fuel that's it's like anything, like the odd fuel can spoil the party, can't it?
Of course they can.
And they're just like jealous. I don't know what the problem is. I don't know what, I ain't got a problem with what anybody's doing. I don't give a shit what anybody's doing. I never did have and never did care.
Yeah.
I've always been somebody, if somebody says, oh, I've won polls, I'll be like, nice one.
Yeah.
I won't be like, oh, bastards want polls. I wish I had fucking polls. What's he going to spend money on? He's out with a wanker.
I'd tax him. Just kidding. I would have the old days. Yeah, tax man.
Tax man.
And my new book, what's out, is the Brian Cockerill on the lead up feed, the tax man and Teesside. Flying out there. Flying out.
I read this book years ago before I even knew Brian and read it and thought, who is this madman? But I read it lately, and it's one of them you just go through, afternoon job, poured myself a whiskey, sat back on the sofa, read through it and thought, it reads like I said, like I think I put it in, I was expecting my daughter to come flying through at any moment. It's really puts you right in the moment, you know what I mean, which is a sign of, it's great writing and it's a good content's amazing. I read the Lee Duffy and the other thing.
Taxman and Teesside. Emma did that. She did it.
Yeah.
The speech, I'm sleeping Ray.
Again, another book. What it just puts you right on.
We were doing one with the other author from Stokesley.
Oh.
And he was wanting to write about Lee and said he stole at pound shops, but there was no pound shops in 1991. And he was saying this was happening with Lee and that was happening. I thought, but you're already 8-year-old.
I know what you mean.
You can't put.
Again, I won't name him.
No, I won't name him. But
it's not about not about suing you. It's just you ain't got don't want to get time of day to be honest that much. But he's another one who sort of. He thinks he's a best-selling author.
Every single book.
You don't understand like that best-selling author. That first book that I helped him with, wrote a chapter in a boxing book on Paul Sykes. It went to #1, but Mike Tyson's at #2. What you got to realise is Amazon update every week, every day, or whatever. It's on an algorithm. So if you've sold even 100 books that day, so you've been building up to a launch and everybody knows your book's coming out. In that couple of weeks that your book comes out, you'll have you should have that be a busy time. So you'll have a few sales. So as Amazon looks at it that day, they'll think Mike Tyson's book's been out 10 years and it's still at #2. It's been steadily sold millions of copies. It's steadily selling. So for that,
a new book coming out is going to sell a lot more than
in a small category like boxing, where only a few boxing book comes out every year. For a split second, you're going to go to #1. So then, if you want to be a bit sad and go, I'm a best-selling Amazon author, I suppose you are.
My Taxman book was out in. I sold 2,800 copies in the first week.
Exactly.
But I'm not going. Who I'm the best-selling author?
This is why I've got Stephen French on my new book. Stitches wrote the foreword. I asked him just for a quote, and he went, "I tell you what, Dale, I'll do you one better. I'll write it forward because I understand this story, and I want to back it up with for any of these soft idiots out there. I want to put a bit of clout behind it, and I want people to understand. Do you know what I mean? That people that are respected in certain circles, are your friends and they understand what's going on.
Nobody bothers you.
But Stephen's book, I think it was Graham Johnson, absolutely, top writer. Do you know what I mean?
I don't mean they're going at the trolls, but the only real one is the one I'm on about. Is the one who's going to write this book with me. He's the only one who's really give you a hard time, hasn't he? No one else.
As soon as me income, as soon as I wrote a chapter for his book, within a couple of weeks. There'd been a little piece of paper that I'd written, when I said about hanging myself. So newspaper had sort of got behind me, and I'd gone back to newspaper, picked up, and they'd put a little thing in paper saying, a man tried to commit suicide for a sex crime that he never committed. Served 27 months in prison for a crime he didn't commit. Were fully acquitted by Royal Courts of London.
I've seen your DBS check as well, haven't you? You showed me. I didn't even want to see it, but he showed me that it's up to date and everything.
But
nothing on it.
I left it, as embarrassing as it was. I thought, well, I'll leave it online as a Google search. You Google through my name, there's all the book stuff, and then that was there. I've had it took off now. I've had it took off because I just thought, fuck it, I'm having it took off. But I left it for years. So I thought, well, if anybody does want to look at it, as embarrassing it is, at least it's got them sort of statements there where it's like not guilty, acquitted, served a crime for time for something he's not done. I thought, well, it's pretty obvious. Even a monkey can work it out. You've not done it, but he's read that, And then as soon as he's read that, my phone's going, "You rapist, you nonce, you rapist." I'm like, "What the fuck's going on here?"
Must have your dog.
And just
remember that.
yeah, it went on for 3. Well, it's still well, it's quieting down at the minute, but I think, like I said, he started attacking other people. But for 3 years, you know, like
not for much longer. Court case next month.
Ringing me up and saying he's going to stab my dog, he's going to bum me. He's obsessed with bumming.
He's obsessed with rape. Seems to be obsessed. Absolutely delusional.
Seems to be obsessed with rape himself, and you wonder why. You know,
I was on about Paul Sykes in jail when we were on the Jimmy O show, and he's on there going, "God, this," laughing. I'm looking at him. And he goes, "Oh, when Paul Sykes used to have sex with the young lads, he used to put a newspaper over page 3 and bum them from behind." And I looked at him and this is why I didn't want
to say so much about Paul Sykes, but like I said, because he's popular and people asking, because I'm from, you know, like if anybody knows about me, so it's like
when Sam was in jail, when I was in there, it was known as raping young kids in there. He was a horrific rapist.
That's what I mean. I just thought people
was real. That was real.
I've just done that Decker Eggies podcast, official All or Nothing. And they wanted to do a bit of stuff on Paul Sykes, and I was like, I'll take you up to his grave. And I wanted to just tell him about like Colin Beaumont smashing his head in.
Right.
You know, I wanted that to be put across.
Yeah. But I remember somebody saying that Paul Sykes used to get people to stand on the pool table, and he was made them sing "Hickory Dickory Dock" and all that. And absolutely bullying people, terrible. And you buy me a pint, you're buying me a pint, and all these types of things.
It's spitting your pint. If you had a pint, you come into a pub and go, spitting your pints, you think, well, I don't want that pint. I'll have a pint.
Yeah,
that's what he does. Stuff like that. That's why Colin ended up sparking him out, putting him in hospital. But like I said, people like that, he won't go back because Colin, when he'd been in prison with Craze, Colin come home and I think somebody had a little affair with his wife. Not much, but he ended up knocking on the door, leveling double barrel off, and just blowing the bollocks off.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So he wasn't like to be, you know, he was a dangerous kind of geezer, you know what I mean? So Paul knew that about him, so he thought, well, you know, even though he's put me in hospital.
He was that tough, he'd have been back, wouldn't he? So he obviously knew his limitations.
This was when they were in the prime. You know what I mean? This is when he was like at his top as in his prime as he could have got.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't going to do naught to Colin.
That was it, kids in that in jail.
Yeah, well,
I remember Lee Duffy, when he was in there to Lee told me the story, he offered him out because Lee was a big lad when he was 20 odd when he went from the Borstal straight to the big jail. I think he was about 21, 22 or something, and I think it was 1988. And Lee offered him out, and a couple of screws I know in there, but lived round here and was there. And Duffy offered him out, and Sykes he surrounded himself with the screws and didn't dare come near Lee. And then Lee got shipped out. And but he was in there, but loads of different schools.
Once you get the full jigsaw piece,
of course.
Once you get it all together, it's not, you know, like I said, some of these things are blown out of proportion about what people want or what the, you know.
Yeah, well, I know an author. He was the one who got offered the book for Fesson, who this other author had written a book about Sykes. He was the first one offered it, and he said, "No, too much bad things about me. About someone like that."
I've had a few messages this week saying, "Why have you done Decker Eggy?" Because it's put a band, you know, it's like Paul Sykes' story. You know, I wanted to just get this story out about this stitch because it's just coming out, you know, and I've been, like I said, I'm still nervous to sort of mention it because it's still, like I said, the stigma still, even though I'm dealing with it a lot better, I still thinking back of myself thinking, I'm talking about this rape, I'm talking about rape. But I want blokes to be able to talk about it a bit more and not be too like, oh shit, you know.
A lot of people would be accused. I mean, I remember being a Redcar once, and the young lad got the blame for it, and he hadn't done it. She'd make it up because she'd left the boyfriend and went home with this lad. Anyway, he got done for it. He was only
it's destroying what it's also doing is
it's young kids
for genuine victims that it's happening to. It's making it harder for the police. It's making it harder for CPS to differentiate between what case going on. You know what I mean? Well, like I said, when I look back at mine, I think I don't know how it got out of police station. Brian. When you look at the appeal stuff, like I said, my QC then is now the judge at Leeds Crown Court, and even he says, I've got it, it's on back at book, it said, in all my career, I've only known of 2 miscarriages of justice, and yours is one of them. And then I've got Lord Stoughton as well on back at book saying that there was serious doubts throughout the whole of this case, throughout all their evidence.
And what they say at the end there, if you have the slightest bit of doubt against anyone for any crime, you have to find them not guilty. You have to be 100%.
This is why we didn't understand what had gone wrong at Crown Court. Like I said, that's why there was the reaction that happened at the Leeds Crown Court. As soon as that jury went, Dale Brendan Hyde, guilty of rape, it just went, oomph, I tried to escape. The other kid tried to take the judge's head off with a carafe of water. They'd never said no. But they, like I said, they just said,
that's the anger, isn't
it? We were just frustrated. We thought, like, shit, system stood there. You think, you've not done no wrong. it'll be not guilty. That's how it works in this system. When it backfires on you, you think, what the fuck's happening here? And you're only 20, you got work, you're down it, the draggers, they're not fuck out, the draggers down the cells. Next minute I'm on E-man.
You're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty, but in this country you're guilty until you're proven innocent.
Well, the name men don't as well, the papers, like I say, the women get even in this book I've had to call her Miss Legally Anonymous. So, but it sounds good because as you read through it, it's like Miss Legally Anonymous. It's kind of highlighted it a bit, but I'm not allowed, even though prove that I've been acquitted.
You're not allowed to give
I'm not allowed to actually name her. It's like, why am I
Yeah.
not allowed to name her? My name's been dragged through mud. I can't even, in my own book where I'm explaining that there's been no evidence whatsoever, and I'm putting all evidence from my appeal papers in it. I'm putting all things from what judges have said. I'm explaining all the way through what happened from my point of view to what she said on stand, which again totally contradicted everything.
Well, you wouldn't be out there. You wouldn't have gone out if you.
No, they wouldn't let you. They don't let you out. And this is what I'm saying. It's like if they believed for 1 second that there was something that you won't get out of that. No. When I left Liverpool, screws got made. They went, right, your appeals come. You're off to Brixton. And I thought, well, fucking hell, you're not going off to Brixton.
Yeah.
So I had to go in this office and they said, you need to be really legally aware, Dale. You've got to sign this paperwork. What happens is, if you sign this paperwork to say you're off down to this appeal, when you get to appeal,
they can start again, can't they?
There's 3 things that can happen. You can be set free, you can be not set free, and you will start your sentence again from that date, or you will not be set free, and you'll start your sentence again, and they're going to increase your sentence. Right, sign it. So to me, that would have been, all lads on wing went, oh, you want to say, I was 27 months into an 8 year.
Yeah.
If you thought I've done this, and I'm trying to blag I haven't done it, at that point I'd have only done another year or 2. I'd have thought, fuck it, I'll just ride this out, get out, and think no bye. I signed away the 27 months, so if it had gone wrong at the appeal court, I'd have done 10 year and 3 months. No, 10.5 years for now. I was on my way to Wakefield.
But you didn't, you got out because you
they put a slip under my door, Brian, and they put a sheet under your door. I come back from lunch and there was a thing on the door saying you will be allocated a cell at H&P Wakefield when the space comes away. I thought, oh man, what's H&P Wakefield? Fucking, I don't want to be going in there. I know I'm from Wakefield. I don't want to be going in there, but that's not what reality when I was 21.
So what you're up to now then? What you're going to be doing?
Just doing these books, mate. Right. I'm going to try and battle in this cancer away again.
Right.
I've got this radiotherapy starting in Feb. So I'm going to just get December out of the way. Right. I've got January pretty clear. Because we're relaunching these books, so the old publisher, he's out of the picture, and everything's sort of getting transferred over to Amazon.
Right.
I've got new quotes from, like I said, big writers like Paul. Sunday Times, but this troll, he won't mention my name because he's saying I'm this failed author from Wakefield. Right, I've got Sunday Times best-selling authors on front of me who sold 1 million copies. I've got another woman who sold 5 million copies.
Got me in here. Got me here, mate.
Got you here. I've got Stephen French who's got a totally top-selling, not just in the silly categories, like the best-selling autobiography, The Devil. If you want to ever check that out, Graham Johnson, a very respected journalist. Graham Johnson wrote Stephen Stephen French's book, The Devil. Another bestseller. And then I've got this Sean A. Cosby who's he's absolutely flying it. I'm so I didn't know if he were gonna because he's going that big. I thought he'd read the ink and he was like, I love this. And I'd read his debut, this Blacktop Wasteland. He's like a black dude. He's in sort of like deep south. Right. They're drinking moonshine but he's doing really well, and his books are getting took on by film companies now. Right, he's won all awards this year, like all top awards, in all writing sections, all across board, #1. And I've got him on front of my cover now. Right. So things are looking up there. And I'm relaunching and things are going on.
Brilliant, mate. Yep. So anything else to say before you go? Do you want to say out? Last questions?
Have a good new year, mate. And
thank you for bringing me on, mate. And you're welcome anytime, my friend, your dear friend, Dale. Thank you.
End stream.
Yep. Thank you. I went well, that mate.
You're you will all be live.
Yeah. Just say
end
it in it, I think.
I guess I've had quite a few views